Study Guide number 8, Course 2. Number 1, find the circumference of a circle with a radius of 8 centimeters. Use 3.14 for pi. The formula for circumference is pi times d. Well, if we know the radius of a circle, you think about it, that's the distance from the center over to the circle, which would be 8 centimeters. Then the diameter would be 16 centimeters. So it tells us to use 3.14 for pi. And then the diameter would be this double the radius, which is 16. So I think I'll have room to do that here. I'll do the 3.14 times 16, 24, 8, 18, 4, 1, 3, and then 4, 12, carry 1, 10, 50. Got 2 decimal place values, so we'll put 2 place values in it. And we're measuring circumference, which is a distance, which will be centimeters. Number 2, 3/5 of the class is boys. There are 18 boys. How many students in the class and how many are girls? Well, if 3/5 are boys, let's draw a rectangle with 5 sections. 2, 3, 4, 5. And 3 of those will be the boys, which are 18. So if 3/5 is 18, then each one of them is going to be 3 into 18, which would be 6. So we've got 5 equal sections of 6. So we have a total of 6 times 5, which is 30 students. And then the girls would be this group right here. You can either subtract 30 minus 18 or count them here, and you have 12 girls. Number 3, solve using algebra. We have x, and we need to get x by itself. Notice it has a 5 attached to it by subtraction, so we're going to get rid of the 5 by adding it to both sides. Keep our equation balanced. The 5's are gone, so we now have x is equal to 8 plus 5, which is 13. Number 4, simplify. We've got adding and subtracting. Well, to subtract an integer, subtract a number, you add its opposite. So we're only going to be changing the subtraction. You never change addition. So we have positive 5. We're going to add, and then the opposite of negative 6 is positive 6. And then we've got plus a negative 2. We don't change addition. And then we've got subtracting a positive 3, which would be adding a negative 3. Now we can go straight across. 5 plus 6 is 11. A positive 11 plus a negative 2 is a positive 9. And positive 9 plus negative 3 is a positive 6. Number 5, multiplication, all multiplication. So when the signs are the same, the answer is going to be positive. So 14 times 2 will be 28. When the signs are different, the answer is going to be negative, and that's 15. Signs are different, that's going to be negative 24. Number 77, write 28% as a decimal and reduce fraction. I think I'm going to do I'll go ahead, it says decimal, so we'll do that first. 28% means 28 over 100. And if we know hundreds, that's 2 decimal places. So 28 hundredths is 28 with 2 decimal places. Now, as a fraction, we'll take that 28 over 100 and we'll reduce it. And I think the biggest is going to be 4. 28 divided by 4 is 7. And 25 divided by 4 is, 100 divided by 4 is the 25. Number 7, we've got to solve using algebra, and we need to get rid of 2 things. We need to get rid of the 4 and the 5. Now we're going to get rid of the 4 first by subtracting because it's added. And we'll get 5a is equal to 29 minus 4 is 25. The 5 is attached by multiplication, so we'll get rid of it by dividing. And we'll get a is equal to 25 divided by 5 is 5. Number 8, what is 45% of 16? Now we've been doing those with fractions where you do the 45 over 100 and multiply. I'm going to do it like we did in lesson 77 as a decimal. So 45% is 0.45. What is your unknown? So that's our x. is your equals, 45%, I'm going to write it as a decimal, of is my times, and then 16. So we need to multiply these two, and I'm going to go over here and do the multiplication. I'm going to put the 4500s on top and the 16 underneath. 30, 24, 27, and then 5 and 4. 12, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. With 2 decimal places, x will be equal to, you can either write it 7 and 20 hundredths, or you can say 7 and 2/10. Okay, I've got a correction to number 8. It is the ratio of cats to dogs at the shelter was 4:7. I originally had 5, but it's supposed to be 4:7. If there are 44 animals, how many dogs are there? So let's set up our ratio box. I've got cats to dogs, and then I need total, because that's our total number of animals. We've got our ratio, and we've got our actual numbers. So if we know the ratio of cats to dogs is 4:7, that total is 11. So if there's 44 animals, then you can see as we go across that we're multiplying each one of these times 4. And they ask for the number of dogs, so I don't even need this one. So 11 times 4 is 44, and 4 times 7 is 28. So there are 28 dogs. I can also set it up as proportion. I could have set 7 over 11 is our unknown, which was the x over 44. We could have again multiplied by the 4 over 4. We could have cross multiplied and then divided, and we still would have got the 28 dogs. Number 10. Simplifying, these are all division problems. They may be a little bit hard to read, but I've got negative 16 divided by positive 8. Well, the rule is the same as it was with multiplication. If the signs are different, the answer is going to be negative, and 16 divided by 8 is 2. The signs are the same. Both of them are negative, so it's going to be positive, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. And in this one, I have positive 40 divided by negative 5. The signs are different, so the answer is going to be negative, and 40 divided by 5 is 8. Number 11, we're going to do, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So we don't have any parentheses, but we do have exponents. So we have 8 plus 6 times 4 minus the 3 squared. That's 3 times 3, which is 9. I do have some multiplication, so we've got 8 plus 24 minus 9. Now we can add and subtract from the left, so we've got 8 plus 24, which is 32, minus 9, and 32 minus 9 is 23. Number 12, we're adding, so if you're doing addition, you want to add first and then come back and simplify it. So we've got 21 plus 27, which is 48 seconds. I won't have to change that at all. I've got 34 minutes plus 35 minutes, which is going to be 69 minutes. Now we will need to change that. And then we've got 6 plus 2, which is 8 hours. Well, we don't have enough seconds to make a minute, but we do have enough minutes to make an hour, because 60, if we take our 60 minutes away, that will make us 9 hours, and move those over to hours, and that will leave us, when we take the 60 away, that'll leave us 9 minutes. So I can rewrite this. I'll just put it all over here. I've got 9 hours, 9 minutes, and 48 seconds. Number 13, write 245,000 in scientific notation. You need to have a number with a 1-digit place value at the front, in front of the decimal place, and that will be our 2. And then we'll have a times and then 10 raised to the number of spaces that you moved your decimal place. So we put the 2 there, then we'll have 2 and 45 hundredths, and we've moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We started here and moved it 5 spaces. Number 14, graph each on a number line, and that ran over to the next page. So I'm going to stop here and do the second page, and I'll include 14 in that one.